Hey, TGIF and happy Friday. Matty here with Altcoin Buzz. Hope you're having a good one. So, market is kind of flat at the time of this recording. We're going to be talking about really that elephant in the room that I've been alluding to for weeks and months, and some people have been sounding the alarm for years. I mean, what do we expect is going to happen when we have trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars from an American perspective that keep getting printed? The situation right now is not looking good, and a lot of economists, a lot of analysts that have nothing to do with cryptocurrency are kind of really suggesting that this is a problem. And I've always been of the opinion that cryptocurrency in some senses, although we in this space, we don't want the rest of the world to collapse. We don't want to burn down the existing system. But crypto is indeed a great hedge against phenomena like these that we're seeing. May inflation hitting 5%, which is a massive number. We're going to be discussing that. We're going to be discussing some of these new initiatives that Nayib Bukele out of El Salvador is pioneering. Just kind of a recap in case you haven't been following that news over these last few days. We have very positive news out of Texas when it comes to Bitcoin mining. We have Volcano mining in El Salvador. We have solar panel mining of Bitcoin in Texas now that's been greenlit and approved. We have updates out of Polygon, Cartesi. Chiliz, of course, is in the news in a big way because we're kicking off the Euro. I guess it's 2020. I don't know if they're calling it Euro 2020 or Euro 21, but it's the soccer tournament out of Europe along with the Copa America. In the case of the Euro, at least I know that it was delayed since last year. Chiliz, of course, just dominating that space as a cryptocurrency, really showing some fantastic growth. So we'll cover that, as well as $50. We're giving away $50 worth of Ether at the end of this video, guys. So if you like the content, be sure to like and subscribe to Altcoin Buzz News. Altcoin Buzz News tweeting about the innovations that we're seeing lately in Central America. El Salvador plans to build Bitcoin mining facilities with renewable geothermal energy generated from volcanic activity. You can read more about this. This is kind of old news, but just in case you haven't already seen this story, it's available on the website altcoinbuzz.io. El Salvador plans renewable Bitcoin mining with volcanoes. The president, Nayib Bukele, wants the state electric company to build geothermal Bitcoin farms. And I don't think there's any argument against this. The naysayers can come out, and what exactly are they going to claim? This is literally untapped, unused energy that's otherwise just kind of being dissipated into the atmosphere. This is not currently harnessed energy, so why not harness it and apply it toward Bitcoin? Here's the next step, actually. So this is more breaking. From last night, I should say. Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador, I sent a drone to film one of the new wells. Nice rainbow. Bitcoin mining with the power of volcanoes. And this is, I think, not only a positive for President Bukele and El Salvador, but this is fitting in right now perfectly as a counterweight or a counter argument to the narrative out there that Bitcoin is this dirty, climate change contributing energy sector, energy hog that we don't need, and we should kill off cryptos, right? We should sacrifice cryptocurrency on the altar of environmentalism for the benefit of the planet. Just ridiculous nonsense that you guys know is nonsense, but for somebody that is kind of on the sidelines, is not more knowledgeable about this, and they say, wow, Bitcoin mining consumes as much energy as sort of a mid-sized country would, and they're not necessarily told that, yes, but it's 75% renewables, yes, but we're moving in a more and more sustainable direction. Not to mention the fact that, nothing in this world comes for free, and the best monetary system that's ever existed, it should be expected that that's going to come with some energy usage and some, energy production, even byproducts. It's a worthwhile formula, in my opinion, but you know how they work. The fudsters are just on full-on smear campaign mode, unfortunately. But this is promising. This is a positive development. This is something that we're going to be able to use sort of as ammunition against those fudsters. Think of Elizabeth Warren that came out yesterday that said we should full on do a crackdown, a full crackdown, a ban almost of cryptocurrencies, just due to environmental and climate change reasons alone. That's ridiculous. The woman is a lunatic. And I understand that she's speaking kind of, at the behest of the larger political system, and politicians, generally speaking, tend to defend the USD. But still, I mean, if it's a garbage argument, it's a garbage argument. Speaking of the USD, here's why they're trying to defend it. Here's why they are actually digging in their heels and getting so aggressive when it comes to their defense of this system, because it's in trouble. We've been talking about this for as long as this channel, well, not this channel, Altcoin Buzz News, of course, is a new channel, but for as long as Altcoin Buzz has been producing content and producing videos for years now. I mean, that's always been sort of structurally the problem, right? The beauty of cryptocurrency, let's use the example of Bitcoin, is that there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. There's no quantitative easing. There's no unelected central banksters that can come out and print trillions upon trillions of new BTC. It is mathematically capped by the algorithm. You can't mess with it. It's not the case with the USD. And not to pick even on the USD in particular, because any given fiat over time is basically going to gravitate toward a value of zero. Even the US dollar over the last 100 or whatever years, you guys know the charts I'm referring to, has lost about 99%, perhaps even more, 99.5% of its purchasing power. That's just the natural trajectory of an inflationary currency in a fractional reserve banking system. Now, the bad news is that inflation is actually a little bit higher than many analysts were either projecting or hoping to see. Three considerations as inflation hits 5%. This courtesy of Forbes. Wall Street Journal: U.S. inflation is highest in 13 years as prices surge 5%. The rapid rise in consumer prices in May reflected a surge in demand and shortages of labor and materials. And by the way, my understanding of this 5% metric that they calculated is that it does not reflect the increase in gas prices, which, depending on where you are, I haven't felt that personally. I see gas prices are up a little bit in my neck of the woods. But I'm hearing reports of like some, let's say, U.S. states, locations in the U.S. where gas prices actually are up like 30, 40, 50% over the course of the last month. And that is very much due in part, I think, to the supply shock that was felt kind of in the eastern half, kind of maybe like southeastern part of the country due to the Colonial Pipeline hack. So I get that that's kind of a specific, almost anecdotal situation. But you're seeing, in some cases, 50% increases in the price of gas, from what I'm told. Again, I'm not there, I'm not on the ground, but that's what I'm hearing in certain US states. And that's not a number that's factored into that 5%. 5% tracks some other things. The argument is that this whole CPI tracking system is extremely artificial. It's also not tracking a lot of the foods that have gone up significantly over the course of the month of May as well. Inflation here on the Washington Post could climb in May as prices continued to climb in May as prices rose 5% over the last year. Policymakers say it's temporary. Well, of course they're going to say it's temporary. What other option do they have? If policymakers were to come out and say that we're screwed, the system is doomed, prepare for imminent collapse and fend for yourselves, what exactly would be the benefit of that kind of messaging? Until the last moment that the ship is just going to be sinking, when you have just an inch of it that's just barely buoyant above the water and it's on the way down, they're still going to tell you, policymakers, that is temporary, that things are fine, that the outlook is good. Continue to invest, continue to support the economy. Everything is perfect, fear not, nothing to worry about. Don't ask any questions. That's effectively their official stance. They would never warn us about anything. By the way, these prices that we're seeing now and this 5% metrics, the highest in 13 years. Let's do some basic subtraction, some basic arithmetic. What happened 13 years ago? Well, that was 2008. For those of you that were around, I'm assuming many of you were, we know the economic climate of 2007, 2008, 2009. I'm not saying inflation was the only factor there, but it's interesting how in some cases history may not necessarily repeat with previous precedents, but it does often rhyme. So I just find it's interesting that that 5% figure is the highest in 13 years, which would in effect bring us back to 2008 here on NPR.org. Inflation climbs even higher with prices rising 5% in May. So the point that I'm trying to make is that at least we have a genuine form of innovation in terms of what El Salvador is doing, in terms of what Bukele's engineers here are doing with these geothermal wells. I think that's extremely positive. It's in response. It's another option. It's an alternative to this nonsense fiat system that's just a structure that is imploding. Similarly, we also have this pretty good news out of Texas. So El Salvador is doing volcanoes. Texas is doing something else. They're allowing state banks to hold Bitcoin. And you can check out here with this official release, this official statement from the Texas Department of Banking. Texas state chartered banks may now store Bitcoin on behalf of their clients. That's great news in and of itself. So that's kind of at the level of what's allowed legally. But in terms of, some of the energy pursuits that Texas right now is on top of, check this out. Manhattan Solar Partners plans to build the largest renewable powered Bitcoin mining data center in the United States. With over a gigawatt of renewable energy, it's expected to begin operations later this year in Texas, which means over 700 high-paying jobs in the local economy. Again, if we can solve for this criticism of wasteful energy, bad for the environment, bad for the climate, I don't know what else they're going to be able to throw at us, because it seems like they've gone through their entire arsenal. Like all of their ammunition now has been used up. And if Bitcoin really continues in this direction, now it's being powered by these gigawatt solar farms and volcanoes and whatnot. And if we get it from 75% renewable to 80 to 85, 90, 95, 99%, maybe one day even 100% renewable energy, what else will the critics have to say? What else will they be able to say? They'll probably launch back into an economic argument at that point, talking about how maybe it leads to the instability of the existing systems. They'll probably revert back to, criminals using it for ransomware purposes and that kind of thing. But believe me, cash is still the preferred asset of criminals. There's no doubt about it. Look what happened to the people with the ransomware, with the Colonial Pipeline. They got caught. They got caught because there is ultimately... They were idiots, number one. The FBI, by the way, didn't hack anything as far as their Bitcoin passwords. But, there is some basic accountability. There are some forensics you can analyze when it comes to the blockchain. So there's no medium of exchange that's preferred by criminals more than cash. All right. So in other words, there's some positivity here that we ought to be happy about. Let's break into some altcoin news, beginning with Hypersign here. Hypersign Chain and 0x Polygon, aka MATIC, partner to bring decentralized identity and security to the global blockchain community. Another great partnership for Polygon, aka MATIC, here on medium.com. Hypersign and Polygon partner to bring decentralized identity and security to the global blockchain community. You can check this out. They kind of lay out the problems that exist right now and how their mutual partnership is going to be beneficial to the space. We won't go through this all, but I will link to this in the description below if you're interested. Cartesi is in the news. Quote, the chain agnostic layer 2 infrastructure. Cartesi has announced it's designed to build governance processes for its ecosystem, which would secure the future of Cartesi. They are quoting us, Altcoin Buzz IO. Missed the launch of our governance system? Have a read, and you can check out the full details there. We know there are a lot of you members of the Altcoin Buzz Army that are rightfully fans of Cartesi. Well, as per this write-up here, they have just unveiled their governance to secure the future of the project. This write-up is by Daniel on the website. Cartesi is releasing a system to standardize technical contributions and to settle matters that are mostly technical in nature. You can also check out more details about this governance announcement on medium.com. Introducing Cartesi Governance. This from a little over a week ago, Cartesi Improvement Proposals, or CIP. And finally today, before we get to the Ethereum giveaway, $50 worth of Ethereum, we do have Chiliz, which is in the news actually in a pretty big way. It's a perfect storm for a project like Chiliz. I kind of been talking about how I just feel Chiliz is so well poised to take advantage of the sporting, let's call it like euphoria, fandom, energy that's going to resurface once society kind of reopens this summer and things get back to normal and sporting events and venues and stadiums begin to fill up with fans again. And look, they offer digital services anyway, so don't get me wrong. Like they're gonna do fine one way or another, whether people are watching and enjoying sports in person or not. But there's something about like when tournaments kind of get back into the full swing of things and people are participating at a physical level. Like there's just more overall attention and enthusiasm for those sports, right? It's just more kind of like in people's crosshairs and spotlights and. there's just more enthusiasm. What can I say? Alexander Dreyfus here. The Chiliz and Socios ecosystem is waking up today ahead of Euro 2020, which again, I'm not a big soccer fan by any means, but my understanding is that the Euro 2020, which was supposed to be held last year, obviously, which got delayed, is now kind of swinging into full gear, and it's happening now. So there's that, and there's Copa America. That will make our summer busy, and when full season will start and post-COVID activities, and with our 40-plus partners all over the world, we are going to be everywhere. I tend to agree with that. There's a lot of fun activity for Chiliz lately. We're on their Twitter feed here, and you can see that they're very busy. There's a lot of stuff happening here. History in the making, for example. 1 month ago, this wonderful news emerged. Socios, Chiliz, AFA, welcome ARG. AFA announced that Argentina will become the first national team. Well, you can read more about that. They're going to be supported by the Chiliz ecosystem here. There's all kinds of prizes and competitions that they're launching as well, so you can check that out. A lot, basically needless to say, a lot is happening in the world of Chiliz, what they're doing, their integrations, their partnerships. A lot is happening, and as a result, in the case of their token, CHZ, we're looking at the losers now in the last 24 hours. As far as the winners, Chiliz ahead of the pack, ahead of everybody in the top 100, up 47.8% in these last 24 hours. Again, Chiliz, ticker CHZ, up 47.8% in these last 24 hours. It's just kind of my loose armchair thesis that as the world opens up, I mean, Chiliz is already so dominant in this space in terms of fan token functionality. It's their world now to take over, like as things continue to open up, as sporting and different events kind of resume back to normal. I think that's going to be extremely positive for Chiliz. This, in my opinion, is an early indication of that phenomenon. So, hey, kudos to Alexander Dreyfus and the team. All right, let's go ahead and give away today's $50 worth of Ethereum. We're looking at the Altcoin Buzz News videos page here. If you're you were hearing me kind of rant about some of those climate issues that were brought up, in my opinion, all of them are lies. It's just fear-mongering. It's sensationalism. If you want to dig into more detail there as to exactly what the arguments against Bitcoin are at the level of climate and energy, I'd encourage you to check out yesterday's video. We did talk about that. Crypto climate lies destroyed. So pretty good job here on the likes, 232 likes, still way more comments than likes. As a reminder, guys, in order to be eligible for $50 worth of Ethereum, number 1, like the video. Number 2, subscribe to Altcoin Buzz News. And number 3, comment with the letters ETH, ETH, or the word Ethereum. Let's go ahead and take yesterday's URL. I'm going to copy that. Okay. Go ahead to Raffle Dash here, and as long as you're not a previous winner, basically, and you incorporate those conditions into your comment, you win. The winner here is Gray Pilgrim. Very nice. I love it so much. ETH. Hey, Gray Pilgrim. I like the owl profile pic there. Congratulations. You've won $50 worth of Ether. Gray Pilgrim, please go back to yesterday's video, this one that we were just looking at, okay? You must go back, you must find this comment that you made. Very nice, I love it so much, ETH. Find your own comment, and with the same Gray Pilgrim YouTube profile, please respond to your own comment with the Ethereum address to which you would like us to send you $50 worth of ETH. It's just that easy. You've won. Congratulations. As I keep saying, you may as well throw your hat into the race with these competitions because they're so easy to enter. Stay tuned. We'll have another one tomorrow, but that is it for today, everybody. Do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels. Keep checking back into altcoinbuzz.io. That is our website. That's where you'll find all the latest. Like, subscribe, share, hit the bell to receive notifications if you enjoyed today's video. None of this is financial advice, but I do wish you all the very best of luck if you choose to invest. TGIF, once again, stay safe, have a great one, and we hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.